Namaste, and welcome to Tune in Frequency Readings. Something that I have been doing, I have done, something that I have done on my page, on my private page, a lot, especially during quarantine, was to find books, especially poetry, to read out. And since today's card included Reveal the Mystery, and I was reading out a passage from Pieces Every Step by Thich Nhat Hanh, I thought that I want to read the whole chapter and not just the passage, in order for you to get the whole picture, basically. So this chapter is called Mindfulness of Anger. Anger is an unpleasant feeling. It is like a blazing flame that burns up our self control and causes us to say and do things that we regret later. When someone is angry, we can see clearly that he or she is abiding in hell. Anger and hatred are the materials from which hell is made. A mind without anger is cool, fresh, and sane. The absence of anger is the basis of real happiness, the basis of love and compassion. When our anger is placed under the lamp of mindfulness, it immediately begins to lose some of its destructive nature. We can say to ourselves, breathing in, I know that anger is in me. Breathing out, I know that I am my anger. If we follow our breathing closely while we identify and mindfully observe our anger, it can no longer monopolize our consciousness. Awareness can be called upon to be a companion for our anger. Our awareness of our anger does not suppress it or drive it out. It just looks after it. This is a very important principle. Mindfulness is not a judge. It is more like an older sister looking after and comforting her younger sister in an affectionate and caring way. We can concentrate on our breathing in order to maintain this mindfulness and know ourselves fully. When we are angry, we are not usually inclined to return to ourselves. We want to think about the person who is making us angry, to think about his hateful aspects, his rudeness, dishonesty, cruelty, maliciousness, and so on. The more we think about him or her, listen to him or look at him, the more our anger flares. His dishonesty and hatefulness may be real, imaginary, or exaggerated, but in fact, the root of the problem is the anger itself. And we have to come back and look first of all inside of ourselves. It is best if we do not listen to or look at the person whom we consider to be the cause of our anger. Like a fireman, we have to pour water on the blaze first and not waste time looking for the one who set the house on fire. Breathing in, I know that I am angry. Breathing out, I know that I must put all my energy into caring for my anger. So we avoid thinking about the other person and refrain from doing or saying anything as long as our anger persists. If we put all our mind into observing our anger, we will avoid doing any damage that we may regret later. When we are angry, our anger is our very self. To suppress or chase it away is to suppress or chase away ourself. When we are joyful, we are the joy. When we are angry, we are the anger. When anger is born in us, we can be aware that anger is an energy in us, and we can accept that energy in order to transform it into another kind of energy. When we have a compost bin filled with organic material, which is decomposing and smelly, we know that we can transform the waste into beautiful flowers. At first, we may see the compost and the flowers as opposite, but when we look deeply, we see that the flowers already exist in the compost and the compost already exists in the flowers. It only takes a couple of weeks for a flower to decompose. When a good organic gardener looks into her compost, she can see that, and she does not feel sad or disgusted. Instead, she values the rotting material and does not discriminate against it. It takes only a few months for compost to give birth to flowers. We need the insight and non dual vision of the organic gardener with regard to our anger. We need not be afraid or reject it. We know that anger can be a kind of compost, and this that it is within its power to give birth or something beautiful to something beautiful. We need anger in the way the organic gardener needs compost. If we know how to accept our anger, we already have some peace and joy. Gradually, we can transform anger completely into peace, love, and understanding. I love this especially because, as you might know, one of my favorite sayings is alchemy turn bad shit into good shit. Here being the bad shit being the compost and the good shit being the flowers. But as we see in this passage, that one is not separated by the others, but they actually need each other. All right. I kind of want to create a bridge to the flower of life as well. So when we see this this passage not just as anger being the compost and us being the flower, or peace being the flower, but actually if we completely take our own life as the flower of life and our environment as the compost, so we will also have this kind of meta meaning for this passage as well. I hope this serves you well, and I want to say peace we be with you. Peace be with you, so I'll say it. And not meaning any religious background in it, but just peace in itself. Peace be with you. Thank you.